This is pretty crazy. Don't expect this to happen on your trip to PV.
Hello.
Good afternoon, amigos, from Puerto Vallarta.
We are alive and well.
We're alive and well. It's been a long work day. Hillary's busy season as she's a CPA. All you folks that filed an extension, she's busy working on that.
9 more weeks.
So it's about 6:30, 6:15. We're gonna go get some dinner. We haven't talked about our have less, do more, be more like slogan in a while, even though we did a huge Be More project, but I feel like we didn't even really talk about the Be More component. So today we're gonna talk a little bit about having less and how that has enabled us to do more and to be more and to be here in Mexico. But first, before we talk, we've gotta go get some food.
Let's go.
Barra Light. What'd you get home?
Cauliflower soup.
How much is that?
I don't know, but I'm working on my fitness because it took me 12 minutes to work out today and it took everyone else under 7.
I think the salad is 98. The soup is 22 pesos. That's not too bad. We've been here plenty of times. Oh no, this is the real thing.
Gracias.
Tuna on a bagel.
62.
Yeah, how much is that? 62 pesos?
It's so good.
Barra Light's so good. We've linked to them before. We'll link again. Great place to go. They have air conditioning. This is why we're here all the time, if you're wondering. We're all full on Barra, except that we've got a little space left for some candy. So we're gonna go grab some candy, head to the water, give you some views on the way. Alright, we're getting this delicious, what's it called, mazapan?
Yeah, it's like marzipan minus the R.
It's my favorite Mexican candy. It's so good. I don't even need to try other Mexican candy because I know that's my favorite. 5 pesos. Well, how was it?
Sugar coma finger looking good.
It is so good.
Made my eye closed.
I want to do another Mexican candy video, but just nothing but this, just so we get to eat it.
We just try it over and over.
I feel like we could talk about it for 10 minutes.
Easily.
What's the other thing we got?
Gone.
Where's mine? We also like to get these a lot. It's chiclosos de cajeta. It's really good. It's just like a little caramel candy. 1 peso, and that's 5 pesos. So it's like a good, nice, easy snack that we don't feel too guilty about. Usually when we talk about have less, we talk about like having less stuff. We kind of talk about the material things. But today, we're going to talk about a much different, possibly more important aspect / spin on the whole have less thoughts. Seen here. I think the turtle came to lay its eggs. I don't know how long it's gonna take, but I have a feeling we're gonna be here for a while watching this. We're going to talk about having less, but I think now we're going to talk about turtles.
Yeah.
How's it feel?
To be what, a turtle ant?
No, to watch a turtle give birth.
The labor process is really smooth so far. She's about at a 3 now.
I feel like I've been standing here for 9 months.
Only about 20 more minutes or so, he says.
It's not every day you see a turtle. We don't hardly ever see turtles out in the water. much less out on the beach. This is pretty crazy. Don't expect this to happen on your trip to PV. There are some good turtle release programs that you can do. We did one at the Marriott that we'll link below. Probably one of the coolest things we've done here in Vallarta. I don't know why we haven't done it again. We definitely need to go. But there's a lot of people around, security guards freaking out, making sure no one gets too close. Very serious, very serious situation here. I mean, how would you like it if you were giving birth and just a bunch of people came around?
100 eyeballs.
We need to, gotta stay 3 meters away, folks. An exciting event. I don't know how that's gonna look on camera, but that was pretty really crazy cool to see. It was kind of like hard to describe what that was like. Seeing it go into the ocean was pretty that was pretty special. It did happen fast. Everything else happened pretty slow though. In 30 seconds or less, tell us your thoughts on that turtle. The turtle really.
We didn't have to pay for a shore excursion.
Yeah, that was the cheapest shore excursion.
That was really cool. I've always wondered how, I knew that they laid their eggs on shore, but I wasn't really sure how they did it. I knew that like the people who have the turtle sanctuaries dig the eggs out of the ground, but I wasn't really sure how the turtle was able to dig the hole, so that was crazy.
We made it home, it's about 8 o'clock. We got distracted by the whole turtle thing, but we promised you we were gonna talk a little bit about some of our philosophy. We'll let Hill do the talking. I know you guys have really missed her. She can speak a lot more eloquently than I can, so we'll give the mic to her.
Usually when we talk about having less, like Greg said, this is really easy to think of in the tangible form, just because it is tangible and it's easy for us to think about having less stuff, less clothes, less cars, less in our home, things like that. But to us, have less means so much more. So we've come up with about 3 or so steps we've taken to have less of these things, intangible things that have allowed us to live a life abroad. So the first is excuses. We are all guilty of this, but I think if we can all work together and individually to have less excuses, I think we'll be a better world. I know that sounds really cliche. Every morning, for example, I wake up and I think of the fastest excuse that comes to my brain as to why I can't go to CrossFit that day. And these excuses range from, well, I'm sore, to, oh, I have a lot of work today, or don't I have a meeting this morning, or I don't have any snacks to eat before CrossFit. And so I think that our own excuses in our own head are so strong at holding us back sometimes. The second intangible that sort of have less mentality goes along with is having less reservations. So reservations sort of encompasses a lot, but to us we sort of think it means having less distractions and then having less hesitation. So when the thoughts first started going through our mind of we're going to move to Mexico, the hesitations were endless. We had so many hesitations, distractions. Again, we came up with every sort of excuse or just life distraction. There was a lot to think about, but I think once we were able to tick off those reservations and sort of like let them, like accept them and then let them go, like you're supposed to do when you meditate, I think that we found ourselves to find together and individually that we really didn't, our reservations really weren't that valid. And I think that's true. I feel like we worry and we procrastinate and we have distractions and hesitations, and all that's a part of reservations to us. And I think if we can be cognizant of those reservations, then I think we'd be able to get a lot more done. I know we would. The third thing that Greg and I could think of today is to have less anger or hatred. I think it's been a really sad week in the United States with all the events that have unfolded in Charlottesville, mainly, and just lots of turmoil happening across the United States. And while I would like to take the opportunity to use our tiny platform to spread good in the world, I will not touch on anything related to politics, so if you're hoping for that, you're in the wrong place. However, I think that in the last week, I've seen so much hatred spread across social media, across the news outlets, and it just makes me sad. So I encourage you and challenge you to have less hatred, have less anger, all those negative things. I think it's in us to turn to anger a lot of times when it's unnecessary. We are so guilty of that too. We are by no means immune to this. I just think if I remind you, then I will be more likely to hold myself accountable and hold Greg accountable, and we will be able to hold each other accountable. There it is. We are using this platform to better the world, and I encourage you and challenge you to
the bird.
Pretty bird. The next time you feel hatred in your heart or anger in your heart, just try to completely flip that around 180 degrees and spread love instead of anger. There you have it. Those are 3 things to have less of, other than tangible things, which we also recommend having less of. So I think that's it for today. We've witnessed a live birth. Well, not actually, but that thing laid 100 eggs and I'm tired. So with that said, be sure to subscribe to this channel. Click the bell, that way you get notified
every time
we post a video, and we'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow.